like to call this meeting to order. If I could first point out where our fire exits are, it's through this door to my left, and then through the door through which we all came in today. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we do a roll call attendance, please?
Member Spencer.
Present.
Member Sprata.
Present.
Member Menard.
Present.
Member Yarborough.
Present.
And Acting Chairman Delaney.
Present. Okay, can we do the first notice, please?
Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Depew will hold a public hearing on June 22nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, to consider the application of Scott Patrick for the property located at 141 Morano Drive of Chapter 260, Subset 260, 14B1H, to allow him to construct a driveway within the required minimum setback of 3 feet to any interior, rear, or exterior property line, and such driveway does not project greater than 5 feet directly in front of the principal dwelling. A pre-board meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room of the municipal building, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, and any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
Okay, please step forward, tell us your name and tell us what you'd like to do. Yep.
Scott Patrick, residing at 141 Morano. I would like to extend my driveway 2 feet. That would be to the north towards my neighbor's house. My neighbor submitted a letter stating that it was okay with him to extend it just to 2 feet. So I'm not going to go beyond my boundary. I'll still have 1 foot left over.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Members Prado?
The code calls for a 3-foot distance between a lot line and the edge of your driveway. So you're requesting a 2-foot variance, correct?
Correct.
You want to stay a foot away?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make that clear.
Any other questions from my fellow board members? Member Menard, anything?
No, none for me.
Okay. Member Yarborough, anything? Member Spencer?
Nothing.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns from code?
No, we stopped and looked at the property, and no issues that we would be concerned about.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns from legal?
Nothing for me. I do need to specify something. So you can't become within so many feet from that pole?
I'm not doing the skirt. I'm just doing up.
That's what we just
sidewalk.
wanted to clarify. You're going from behind the sidewalk and widening there, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So with all that finished, I'm going to go through the 6 criteria for an area variance in New York State as part of the packet that you filled out. I'm going to read the questions and the answers. Number 1, will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties be created by granting of the area variance? You wrote no, and I would agree. Number 2, can the benefits sought by you, the applicant, be achieved by some other method other than an area variance? You wrote no, and that's correct. Number 3, is the requested area variance substantial? You wrote no, and in parentheses you put 2 feet, and I would agree with that. 4, will the proposed area variance have an adverse effect or impact of physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? You wrote no, and I would agree. Number 5, is the alleged difficulty self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals, but not necessarily preclude the granting of the requested area variance? You wrote no, and I would just say that's a yes. And last but not least, number 6, was the minimum area variance deemed necessary and adequate? You have written 2 feet, and that is correct.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so with that, one of my fellow board members like to put forth a motion to grant or deny this variance.
I'll make the motion to grant the variance.
Member Yarborough makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Second, Member Sprata. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sprata.
Yes.
Member Spencer.
Yes.
Member Yarborough,
Yes.
Member Menard,
Yes.
and Chairman Delaney.
Yes.
5 yes, variance granted.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Depew will hold a public hearing on June 22nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, to consider the application of Leah Schwann for the property located at 50 Rumford Street, Depew, New York, 14043 of Chapter 260, subset 260, 14B1G2, to allow them to construct a fence not exceeding 6 feet in height within the required 5-foot setback minimum from the adjacent road right-of-way. A pre-board meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room of the municipal building, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, and any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
Hi, please step forward, tell us your name and what you'd like to do.
Hello, my name is Leah Schwann, and I'd like to replace a fence I have in the back of my home at 50 Rumford Street. The fence has been there, I got a permit back in 2003, and the fence has been there the entire time except when the EPA came in and ripped up everybody's property. They ripped that up and put it on the exact same footprint, and it's horrible wood that they used, and it needs to be replaced. So I went to the building department, and they told me initially, and I apologize if some of the numbers look goofy, because they said initially I needed an 18-foot setback. So that's why some of the numbers might sound goofy on there. But I guess it's actually a 5 feet from the right-of-way, so I'm asking for a 3-foot setback, so 2 feet of relief. I think that's the way it's supposed to be worded.
Sounds about right.
So are you putting it in the same location?
Same exact spot.
Okay, but you're just going taller with it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have a note from my neighbor, and I took a couple extra pictures of another fence right on my road that I didn't think of when I initially submitted this. I don't know if you want it or not.
We'll take the letter if you have it.
Okay.
I don't know if you have actual photos or...
Yeah, it's
Oh.
just right down the road. I'm like,
Sure, we'll see that as well.
There's 2 great copies.
Excellent.
There's
Okay.
fence down, there's a couple.
Take a quick look.
There you go.
Very well. We have questions from board members. Member Sprata, Member Menard?
I understand that you're going to install that new fence yourself?
Yes.
The one that you're requesting?
Yep,
In the same footprint?
same footprint, and put in the original one, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, any questions from Member Yarborough?
No.
Okay. And any questions, comments, concerns from code?
We went out to the property, there's no issue with line of sight, anything like that, so we're good.
Any questions, comments, concerns from legal?
Nothing from me.
Okay. All right, so with that, I'm going to once again read the 6 criteria for an area variance as part of the packet that you filled out. Number 1, will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties be created by granting of the area variance? You wrote, no undesirable change will be produced as it involves the replacement of an existing fence with a new fence in the existing fence's footprint. The original fence was approved in 03, and the existing footprint replaced in 2010 as a result of EPA work, in accordance with something code requirements. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I don't think an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood. So that's a no for me. Number 2, can the benefits sought by you, the applicant, be achieved by some other method other than an area variance? You wrote the benefits cannot be achieved by any other method, as an 18-foot side yard setback is required in corner side yard setbacks, which the current fence does not meet. The replacement of the fence within the same footprint would therefore require an area variance. You said that almost perfectly, so that was great. I agree. 3, is the requested area variance substantial? You wrote the variance is not substantial as it involves the replacement of the existing fence within the same footprint. that was originally approved by the village building department in '03 and then replaced in 2010 as a result of EPA work. So I would say it's not substantial. Number 4, will the proposed area variance have an adverse effect or impact the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? You wrote the area variance will not have an adverse effect on the adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. And you mentioned that it replaces an existing fence within the same footprint, and I would agree. 5, is the alleged difficulty self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the zoning board of appeals, but not necessarily preclude the granting of the requested area variance. You wrote the difficulty is not self-created as the original fence was proved by the, okay, so it's basically the same statement you make in the other questions. So I would agree that it's not self-created. Yeah, that's one of the few times when it wouldn't be. Excuse me. Lastly, what is the minimum area variance deemed necessary and adequate? Requesting a 3-foot setback for the replacement fence within the existing footprint. The corner side setback is 18 foot from the right-of-way. A relief of 15 feet is needed to replace the existing fence within the same footprint, but we determined that it's 2
Yeah,
feet.
no, that's kind of misleading. She's not asking, it's already been approved. So once a variance is approved on a property, it stays with the property for its life. What she's asking for really is from go to 4 foot to 6 foot. That's what
So the height.
the height is the only requirement.
Yep.
She's further exacerbating a non-conforming use
Yeah.
by going from 4 to 6 feet. That's the
Yeah.
only, that's not a very big requirement.
Okay. All right. So is it 2-foot relief?
Yep.
Down. All right. So with that, do any of my fellow board members want to put forth a motion to grant or deny the variance as presented?
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance.
Okay, Member Spencer,
I second the motion.
seconded by Member Menard. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sprata,
Yes.
Member Spencer,
Yes.
Member Yarborough,
Yes.
Member Menard,
Yes.
and Chairman Delaney.
Yes.
5 yes, variance granted.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's so ugly.
Take care.
Okay, next question, please.
Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Depew will hold a public hearing on June 22nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, to consider the application of Marisa Allen for the property located at 35 Fairview Drive, Depew, New York, 14043 of Chapter 260, Subset 260, 14B1H, to allow them to construct a driveway within the required minimum setback of 3 feet to any interior, rear, or exterior property line, and such driveway does not project greater than 5 feet directly in front of the principal dwelling. A pre-board meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room of the municipal building, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, and any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
I'm clearly not Marisa Allen. I'm her husband, DeAndre Allen.
Okay, and tell us what you'd like to do here.
So I would like to extend my driveway for I have 2 young children. They like to ride their bikes, ride their scooters. We have a basketball hoop, and we also host a lot of family gatherings, parties. I like to extend my driveway for more parking, pull my cars up so I don't have to pull them out into the street. And we would like, from what my wife came in, so I was a little confusing. From the survey, it stated they were 4 feet from the property line. We would like to go 3 feet 6 inches with new concrete. So basically leaving 6 inches from the property line.
Okay.
Sounds about right?
Yep, sounds great. Any questions from fellow board members? Member Sprott?
I did, I didn't mean to
sorry,
interrupt
go
you. I did get a letter from my neighbor.
Oh, please, we'll see that. Thank you. Questions from Member Sprott?
No, nothing. I think he answered my questions when I was there.
Okay, Member Menard?
Is the neighbor allowed to come over and play basketball?
Of course. I love it.
Other than that, no, I don't have any questions.
Only negative is they're Coast Guard, so I'm probably going to lose them in 2 years.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes.
No, just kidding. No, none for me, though.
Member Yarborough, member
questions.
Spencer? No questions. Okay. Anything from code?
Looks good on our end.
The only thing, and I should have probably mentioned to the last person, is when you pitch the concrete,
Yeah.
you cannot pitch it so that the water runoff runs onto your neighbors. You gotta make sure you pitch it forward and a little towards your own driveway so that the water runoff sheds onto your property, not theirs, okay?
Gotcha.
Anything from legal?
Yes, I have a problem, and it's not a big problem, but because we don't have a tax bill or anything with your name on the property, even though I have no doubt in my mind that you're here for your wife, just when you make the motion, just someone note that it's based on the written submission, which is from the documented property owner, rather than what was said here tonight.
Oh,
All right? Just a technicality.
okay. So with
I'm so confused on how like that is stated because it's on my credit report, but somehow I'm not.
We can only consider
Yeah.
what's in front of us and what's submitted, so sometimes we have a tax bill with both names, other things like that.
Gotcha.
So, but this way, no one could come and say, hey, you granted it based on someone who didn't have authority. We're gonna base it based on her written submissions.
Appreciate it.
So that's just kind of a legal workaround.
I get it. I appreciate it.
No. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to read through the 6 criteria for an area variance in New York State, as was written probably by Marisa, or maybe by you. Number 1, will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties be created by granting of the area variance? You wrote no, and that's true. Number 2, can the benefits sought by you, the applicant, be achieved by some other method other than an area variance? You wrote no, and that's accurate. Number 3, is the requested area variance substantial? You wrote no, and I would agree. 4th, will the proposed area variance have an adverse effect or impact the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? You wrote no, and I agree. 5, is the alleged difficulty self-created which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the zoning board of appeals but not necessarily preclude the granting of the requested area variance? You wrote no, and that one's a yes. And last but not least, what is the minimum area variance deemed necessary and adequate? You put 3 foot 6 inches, and that is accurate. Okay.
It's actually 3 foot,
3 foot.
right? Or
No,
2.5?
No, it's 3.5.
Well, he's allowed to be 3 foot from the property line, so if he's 4 foot and he's increasing it by that much, he's really only asking for a 2.5 foot variance. If he's 6 inches away, he's asking for a 2 foot 6 inch variance in this case.
But I thought now he was 4 foot away.
Well, he is 4 foot away, but you're coming 6 inches from the property line?
No, I'm going 3 feet 6 inches from the property line. Well, from
Yeah.
theirs or mine?
From your driveway, you're extending it, you're
3
4
feet.
foot, you're 4 foot from the property line,
Yep.
and you're extending it 6 inches from the property line. You're
No,
allowed,
3 feet 6 inches from our property. Wait, go ahead. Say that again.
Yeah,
My
you're
bad,
both
my
going
bad.
in
From your
different directions.
Yeah.
you're going 3 foot 6 inches from your existing concrete, which is
Yes.
4 foot from the property line.
Yes.
You're allowed 3 feet. So if you're leaving 6 inches, you're asking for a 2 foot 6 inch variance.
Gotcha.
Ah,
I've lost this.
Okay. All right, so with that, and keeping in mind we're basing this on the written submission by Ms. Allen, would one of my fellow board members like to put forth a motion to grant or deny this variance?
I'll make the motion to grant the variance as requested by Marisa Allen.
Okay?
I'll second it.
Member Yarborough and seconded by Member Sprata. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sprata,
Yes.
Member Spencer,
Yes.
Member Yarborough,
Yes.
Member Menard,
Yes.
Chairman Delaney,
Yes.
5 yes, variance granted.
Thank you much, folks.
Bet you wish you were first, huh?
Can I get a motion to close the hearing, please?
Just slightly. You
I'll
just
make
don't
the
want
motion
pitch
to
it
close.
towards your neighbor's
Motion to
property.
close, second.
I'll second it.
Yarborough, Member Sprata. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing closed.
One moment.
She's just got to.